Episode 6, Sarah's New Shutters. So I'm going to be finishing the tenons on the large pieces and get those cut and ready to go. And after that's done, then we'll try dry fitting these parts together. Mark them which part belongs where, because there's going to be slight differences. And then once they're marked and ready to go, we'll drill for the draw pegging. At least we'll drill the mortises for the draw pegging. And then I have to cut all the slots for the louvers, which means lefts and rights. They have to be lefts and rights. Now, these are not set left and right because they don't have the rabbits cut into them and the accent beads cut into them. So you can do them either way you want. Just turn them one way or the other to be a right or a left. But I think I want to mark them right or left. Anyhow, so that's what's up for this episode. Hopefully we'll get it all done. Cheers. Want to go out, Ollie? Want to go out? Let's go. Come on, boy. There you go. Good boy. Ollie the shop dog. So after a bit of gnashing of teeth and working things out, I decided the easiest and safest way to do the tenons on the larger pieces was with the dado head. And after many test cuts on one of my test pieces, I was able to get to where I need to be so that these fit very nicely into the mortises. Nice and snug, but not too snug. So now I'm going to start cutting these out. I got one done. I got 3 more to go. It's basically go slow, take your time, because I'm doing a deep piece, and do 1/2 to 3/4 passes across the dado head at a time. It gets more accurate that way and makes you press down and hold it tight to the fence. Of course, I have to have my tunes, and in this time after yesterday, the safety mask. So let's get started. Well, there you go. So they're going to need a little fine tuning, of course, with all mortise and tenon joints. You get the same thing. A little bit of planing, a little bit of sanding, a little bit of shaping, but so far they're fitting fairly well. I have to cut the shoulders now, which I'll take care of in a bit. But there they are. There's all the pieces of the mortise and tenon joints now. And now we'll do a dry assembly and then cut the louver slots. Here's the parts, obviously. I've got 2 stiles and the rails. The tools I'll be using for this are a shoulder plane and chisels, a mortising chisel, and a Nicholson number 49 rasp. Now, for the most part, it's the mortises that have to be cleaned out. The mortising chisels are great, but that's a relatively inexpensive mortising machine, and that square chisel can actually walk a little bit as you push it through the work. It can walk fore and aft, but mostly it'll walk side to side. But it can move around as you're going through the part, and you may not get all the wood correctly, whatever. So that's what I'm going to be doing, is testing these pieces one at a time, get them to fit, clamp it together, and then move on to the next one. Of course, I'll have to mark them. And since it's painted, marking with a Sharpie. One other tool I forgot to mention is this knockout block. Goes in here pretty easily. When you're putting these together, you get the part in. If it gets so tight you can't pull it out because you have to trim more wood out, you have a little knocking block you can get in here and bang out the tenon out of the mortise and move on to the next trim to get it cleaned out. Yeah, when you're doing this, it's a good idea to try and do both sides of the tenon the same amount so it stays relatively even. So now, put this one in here. I think this is going to, around. It's going to fit. Yeah, yep, that one fits really well. And now this is B2. Goes in here. Flip it around, and this one is going in here. They're all marked, so I know where they go. Now, let's put this side on. There we go, coming on. And there it is, 2 down. So you get a general idea of what it takes to put these together. It's always a little finicky fitting. Smaller mortise and tenon joints on smaller projects usually are not this finicky, but you're always going to have some adjustments to do when you're doing mortise and tenon joints. I haven't done a project where I didn't have to do some. So these are marked. This is part number B. This is joint B1, B2, and joint B3. And I'll mark those as well. Excuse me, I take that back. B2, B2, B2. So we know where they go, and I mark the side that each one goes in so that we can match them up again. So this is B2, B2, and mark, 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 and mark, mark. Okay, I think we're good to go here. Right, whoop. Mark, 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 and X this side, X this side, X this side. So these are marked now and are ready to go on to the next one. 2 more to do, and then we'll do the louvers.